Hey guys, how's it going? Right now I'm in Ashland, Oregon. We just crossed into Oregon, made it all the way through California. Spoiler alert for when the vlogs come out, but yep, we made it this far. Anyway, we're in a little house rental right now, and I thought this would be a good time to film the Q&A. In the last video I asked for questions from you guys, and I'm gonna answer them, or try my best. Alright, let's just get into it. The first questions are from some of my patrons on Patreon. Thank you guys again for being on Patreon. I'll answer your questions first. Nadine Narita asks, any advice for others who are considering hiking the PCT? It seems much more challenging than one hears. Well, I mean, I haven't finished yet, so I can't give any solid advice. No, I don't know. I mean, it is really challenging, definitely a physical challenge and mental challenges. Advice I would have is just, yeah, be prepared for it to be hard. And, you know, if you really want to make it, then you just have to persevere through the hard times. Just step by step, day by day, and, you know, you have to enjoy it. And you have to really want it. Otherwise, you know, it'd be easy to just be in town. Once you get to towns, it's like, oh wow, this is a nice life. You get to sleep in a bed, you have a shower, there's a toilet just right over there. So yeah, I think you have to really be enjoying the whole process and enjoy being outside, and you have to kind of know what you're doing it for, otherwise it will be easy to just give up, I think. So have some good reasons why you're doing it first, and be prepared for the mental and the physical challenges, and you know, you'll be good. Y2J Does Asia wants to know, are you and Nick coming back to Christchurch after the trail? Probably not. I mean, New Zealand is in the cards, but probably not Christchurch. We don't have a place there anymore. Our stuff's not there anymore either. So yeah, there's no big reason for us to go back there. So we'll probably go to a different place in New Zealand, not sure where yet, and that's exciting. So yeah, we'll see. Elements of Daisy wants to know, what do you use to edit your videos on your iPad? I use the app KineMaster. It's an app that you have to pay for. It's a monthly fee, but it seems worth it to me. I really like it. I also tried out LumaFusion, but for me, I just liked the KineMaster better. So I've been using that, and then a lot of people ask how I make those maps, and I make them using Procreate and an iPad pencil. And the music I use is from MusicBed. It's a paid subscription service, but I think their music is just far superior to other music that I found for YouTube videos before, and you don't have to worry about copyright issues or any of that. I've really enjoyed MusicBed, and I have a link below for a free trial if you want to try out MusicBed. If you use my link, then I get a little kickback from that, and it just helps me make more videos for you. So if you're interested in trying it out, please consider using my link. So that's how I've been making my videos. Bill Norris asks, one question I have is about tick repellent. Do you use it, or can you make any recommendations? So before starting out the PCT, I was worried about ticks, and so I sprayed my stuff with the permethrin treatment. However, that only lasted for about like 6 weeks or 6 washes. So that's all off of my stuff by now, and I haven't reapplied, and honestly, I'm really bad at looking for ticks. I probably should be, but there's not as many out here. If you do the AT, for example, you should be checking for ticks every single day and wash all your stuff with tick repellent. I would, at least. But on the PCT, there's not as many ticks, so yeah, I don't know. I haven't really been worried about it, and nobody else seems to really be worried about it either, so yeah, I don't have any solid advice on that at the moment because I'm not doing anything for it. So, but if you were worried about it, the Sawyer permethrin treatment is what I used, and presumably it works. I can't say for sure or not, but I've apparently you can wash. It's like a spray, and you can spray all your stuff with it. Or you can send your stuff in, I think, to get like an insect shield, and they'll do it for you, and I think that is stronger. So you can always do that instead. Coco asks, how are you and Nick feeling on the trail? Any illnesses or injuries? Overall feeling pretty good. Knock on wood. No injuries or illnesses yet. I did scrape up my knuckles at one point on like icy snow that you'll see in a vlog later on. But yeah, nothing really too bad. We've been pretty fortunate. I think in the beginning I had a cold, and then yeah, maybe just like a couple of little colds or something, but nothing major. I think mostly just fatigue is what we deal with, just being really tired, or like your feet get tired, your feet get sore, but that just seems normal, nothing out of the ordinary. So yeah, we've been very fortunate so far. And now for the YouTube comments. Let's see, you guys had a lot. I'll try and answer as many as I can. Catherine in Tosca asks, what has been your favorite stretch of the trail so far and why? So it's really hard to answer that. I'll probably say the Sierra has been my favorite so far, just because it was so challenging, but then also so beautiful, and I just felt so accomplished that actually going through all of that. Again, I don't want to spoil the vlogs that you'll see coming up, but yeah, I don't know. I thought it was just so gorgeous, and it was really memorable, so that's probably been my favorite so far. L. Mark asks, how often do you find yourself hiking with others? Pretty often these days. I mean, I'm always hiking with Nick. And then right now we're hiking with like a group of people. I think there's like 7 of us total, so we're all kind of hiking as a group, but at least 2 of them we've been hiking with since Kennedy Meadows, so very often at the moment. She also asks, what is a habit that you've picked up that you didn't have before the trail? Well, I'd probably say eating a lot of junk food. Before the trail, I feel I was a pretty healthy eater, and now I eat like candy and Cheetos and chips and packaged ramen. Yeah, I feel the quality of food has really gone down, partly because you get what's available, and that's what's available, partly because that's just what's easy to eat out there. It's high calorie stuff, and yeah, it doesn't require like a lot of preparation, you know, you just eat junk food. But yeah, I think it's not a good habit to be in, eating so much junk food and candy and stuff, so I kind of actually am getting kind of tired of it now, and I want to like switch back to healthier food. So we'll see how that goes, but yeah, the junk food. Farm Girl 030 wants to know, what has been your best item of kit so far? Ooh, that's hard to know. I mean, I like a lot of my stuff. I think actually my quilt I like a lot. It's been really good. It's I got that UGQ quilt, 10 degree. It's been like really warm. I've never used a quilt before this, but I really like it. I use the straps under my sleeping pad, and it's really nice. But yeah, it's like been really solid the whole time. Haven't had any problems. It's held up really well, so I think that's been a good one. Love CAR asks, how do you feel security wise on trail? Any precautions needed? If you were a solo hiker, would you feel safe? Safety wise, yeah, I think I feel safe. There's so many solo hikers out here. I definitely think I would feel safe. I mean, I'd probably, if I was alone, I probably would be more afraid at night, just for things like mountain lions, or I don't know, obviously you just feel a little bit, I don't know, at least I would feel a little bit more unsafe alone. But there's usually other people around, so I feel like you can usually always find someone else to camp next to, or you know, just go to one of the campsites that has other people there. And then, I don't know why, but it feels like more safety in numbers, so you can do that. But otherwise, yeah, I haven't really felt unsafe on trail. Everyone out here is pretty nice and friendly and good, so yeah, overall, I'd say it's really safe. Hannah O asks, I know you and Nick said in your video before the hike that people recommended not doing the trail as a couple, so how's that going? Overall, it's been really good, I think. I mean, we're still together, so someone, I remember in that video, said that we weren't gonna last 2 weeks, so you know, at least we made it that far. And then some. Yeah, I mean, I think it obviously is challenging just being with someone all the time, every day, and there's obviously going to be some struggles with that, or sometimes you're going to want to do different things. I think communication is very important. I don't know, I think as a couple, sometimes maybe it's harder to like make more friends, just because like when you're alone, I don't know, I always find it's a lot easier to make friends. But now we're hiking with 2 other couples, and that's really cool, and it works out well, so it's been good. Yeah, it's good. Tip Top Tonic wants to know, are you planning on staying in New Zealand or maybe moving elsewhere after the PCT? Yeah, I mean, planning on going back to New Zealand at some point, but I also want to do so much more travel, so always hard to know. I thought like I'd have so much time to think about what we'll do after this during the PCT, but I haven't really thought about it that much yet. Just trying to finish the PCT and then we'll see. I don't know. I want to do so many things and go so many places and live so many places that it's just hard to know what will happen next, but you'll have to stay tuned. Wants to know, how do you manage the time of month on the trail? I can't imagine a Diva cup being sanitary. So I don't use a Diva cup. I use just tampons. I use like the compact ones because they're smaller, or like, you know, and then with the applicator, because to me that feels the most sanitary and easy to use. I've personally tried using Diva cups in the past and just like they don't work out that well for me, or like I just can't, I don't know, I never spent enough time trying to like perfect that. I know some women, their period goes away or it gets a lot less. That didn't happen for me. It's like pretty much regular. Tampons kind of sucks because you have to pack out the used ones, but it really hasn't been like too annoying. It's kind of annoying, but like you get used to it. You're already packing out used toilet paper all the time, so it's just like one more thing that you're carrying. But you get used to it. It's not that bad. But for Diva cup information, my friend Bart, who I've been hiking with, she uses one, so here's her scoop on that.
I'm Bart. I've been hiking with Mari for, man, how long has it been? 1,000 miles now.
Yeah.
Over 1,000 miles. So yeah, this question is one that I researched a lot before the trail because I was also really worried and curious about how other women on trail dealt with it. I have been using a Diva cup for about a year or 2 before the trail, and I decided that I would start with using that, and I never really had issues with it before, and I loved it, and for the environmental reasons, and just you have to deal with the stuff down there less throughout the day. So on the trail I started with that, and I like it still, but I have had issues on trail with it. It, for whatever reason, comes unsuctioned a lot more than it does in normal life, and my period also did not slow down at all. It was equally as heavy. So the first 2 days, usually, just for me personally, I've had issues with the Diva cup because my period was really heavy. Sorry, this is personal, but it's real. And but yeah, so I'll just treat it as if I'm going to the bathroom number 2 normally. So I'll dig a cat hole and then dump it out, and then I usually use a separate water bottle and actually like clean it out with water. And I make sure to always sanitize my hands and wash my hands beforehand, because it does kind of feel a little bit unsanitary out there, but it is nice because you only have to deal with down there less times than you otherwise would with a tampon, if that makes sense. And yeah, so I cleaned out with water. In the desert, that kind of sucked because we had really long water carries and sometimes I wouldn't have water, so I would use a baby wipe, and then again just treat it as if it were like, put it in my trash bag that I use for other bathroom waste. And it's kind of gross, like, not gonna lie, there's nothing pretty about it, but you kind of just deal with it and carry it and hide it. A good way to hide it is by duct taping your plastic bag so that no one really sees what's inside, because it can get pretty nasty looking. So yeah, I would recommend it. One of the definitely things that I would recommend is if you're going to use the Diva cup, use it for at least like three periods, 3 months before the trail, because it takes a lot of getting used to, and you're not probably going to get used to it on the trail. You're going to feel like it's disgusting. It takes a while to get over that initially, even in not trail life. So definitely use it out before you just hop on trail. Yeah.
Sweet. Merla's Blaines wants to know, how have you dealt with altitude so far? Did you have any symptoms, or did any of the other hikers? What's the highest altitude you've slept? Well, fortunately, I haven't had any altitude sickness, nor have any of the hikers that I was with, so I don't have any advice on that. We were just very fortunate. I think it just affects everyone differently. The highest altitude we slept at, I think, was like around 11,000 feet, I'd say. I don't know the exact. But yeah, for a while in the Sierra Nevada, we were like at 11,000 feet, like minimum for a little while there. So yeah, somewhere around there. M2D2 wants to know, how many permits did you have to get for the PCT, and did you get them before you started or during your thru hike? You just need one permit to actually hike the PCT. You definitely have to get it beforehand. You can't get it during. If you look on the PCTA website, you'll see for next year when they are released. It's a whole process to get the permits where they release them at a certain day at a certain time, and you really want to be there right at that time or beforehand. Then they assign you a random number in line, but thousands of people are applying for these permits, so make sure to just look at the website, find the exact day and time, and go on then to your permits. I also got the California fire permit. That one is not required, but good to know your fire safety, definitely. You don't want to start any wildfires out here. That would be like the worst thing, I think. Joseph Dottie wants to know, any equipment you would change if you're starting over? Well, so my backpack I have changed out. Unfortunately, I loved my first backpack, the ULA Ohm. Really great pack, really great company. However, I think the torso size was just too long for my body. So I've gotten another pack now that has a shorter torso size. I'm still unsure. I don't know. We'll see. For me, I feel like having a good pack is probably one of the most important things, because it's just, you want it to fit right, and you don't want all the weight to be on your shoulders, and you really want to be able to like be comfortable, because if your back is uncomfortable, I just feel like all the rest of the miles are so much harder. For me, since I was in New Zealand and then I didn't have that much time in California before starting to like really spend time getting used to a pack and making sure it's the right size and all that. So if I were to do it again, I'd really want to like make sure I had the right pack before starting off, and like make sure it's the right size, and like make sure it was comfortable. So that's what I would have tried to do differently. Otherwise, I feel like all my gear has been pretty good. There's been some minor changes of like little things, like I started with a comb and now I have like a little foldable brush. Things like that, I don't know, but nothing major. Yeah, but also it's pretty easy to switch out gear along the way, so you don't have to be too worried about gear to start with. Yeah. Down the Highway My Way wants to know, I follow many PCT hikers and see the day-to-day life, but never hear much talk about difficulty or skill level needed for the PCT. My husband and I are a healthy, semi-active couple in our late 20s. Is it possible to start a thru hike without a lot of previous hiking experience? Is it more physical or mental strength on the PCT, or a combo of both? If you're in your late 20s, I feel like you're definitely gonna be able to do it. I don't think you don't need that much skill level to start with. It is just walking. I do recommend beforehand like strength training. That's why I did a lot of like strength training in your legs, and just do what you can to try and minimize injuries later on. A lot of people, I feel like, don't do much training, they just go into it, but I think the more training you do beforehand, the better you're gonna feel while you do it, and the less chance of injury later. It's definitely a mental and physical strength needed. Yeah, physically you're gonna be tired. Mentally, sometimes I think that's the harder challenge. You get bored, kind of. It's a lot of repetition. Yeah, I think for the mental side, the book Pacific Crest Trials is a good one to read if you want to know more about the mental side. And the physical side, if you're not experienced and you don't do a lot of hiking, and you don't do much training beforehand, just start off the trail the first few weeks, the first month, just start off with like lower mileage per day, and kind of just build up to higher mileage, and just don't push yourself too hard at the beginning. And I think you'll be good. That's kind of what I did. So I think it worked out. Not Actually Frodo wants to know, what's your favorite food on trail at the moment? Well, it's a hard one. I get really tired of foods, but I have found some dehydrated hummus that's really good, and that's on like a pita bread with some fresh spinach once you leave town and you still have fresh spinach. That's really tasty. Or maybe some avocado. That's like one of my favorite things I've eaten so far on trail. What has been the most unexpected positive and negative thing about hiking the PCT? The most positive thing, oh, that's hard. There's so many ups and downs, so many positives and negatives. The negatives, I would say, some days feel very repetitive. It's kind of like the same day every day, just different scenery. Right now we're doing more miles a day, and so you're just walking for so many hours throughout the day. So I feel like just like keeping your mind, I don't know, so just like trying not to be too bored is probably the hardest thing at the moment. And right now it feels like we don't have as much time to finish, and so we have to like do so many more miles a day. So right now we just have less free time, getting up in the dark and then getting into camp at dark, and that's hard. So for me it's like the long days of hiking gets tiring for me mentally, and physically, but more of the mental struggle is the challenge. But positives, there's so many positives. I mean, like just being outside all day, and the views never get old, the sunrises, the sunsets, and the people who do trail magic, it just restores your faith in humanity, and just, yeah, the sense of accomplishment when you actually do all the miles that you want to do, and making all the like milestones along the way. That's so exciting. Seeing all the little towns, I love that a lot. You know, just having this opportunity to do this experience, this like almost 6-month journey of just like being able to walk every day, and it's just a really amazing experience, and I feel very grateful to be able to have the chance to do that. So I think it's just positive, is just doing it, just being out here, and like, wow, it's a pretty special experience. Yeah. And then last but not least, someone wanted me to give a shout out to Carmen from Slovenia. So hey Carmen, your husband wants you to do the PCT, so yeah, I hope you guys do it. That would be awesome. You should definitely do it, at least part of it. If any of you are thinking about doing it, go out and do it, or just go do smaller hikes. There's so many hikes everywhere in the world. Somewhere near you there's probably an awesome hike to be had. So do a day hike, just do one overnight hike. I don't know, just get out there and see the world. Yeah. So those were your questions. Hope they were helpful to you. And now, if you want to help me out, I'm just curious to know, what kind of things do you guys want to see in the upcoming vlogs? So is there anything that you like the vlogs to focus on more? Like, what else do you want to see of the hike? Like, what do you find most interesting or useful? Yeah, I'm just kind of looking for some feedback. Hope you guys are all well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. I'll try to do maybe at least one more video before I start editing the vlogs, but we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later. Bye.